we're gonna play a little bit of contenders or pretenders, man. Where we've got 7 more weeks left in the NFL season. We're coming towards the last full month of the NFL season as well. And I've got 6 teams from each conference that I want to get to see if we're there, if they're contenders or pretenders going into this, man. I want to start with the AFC, with the Chiefs. I think obviously the Chiefs are contenders. I mean, they are the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the 3-time defending Super Bowl champions. I think that the fact that their offense has not been what they wanted to be, it looks even worse than it did at the beginning of last year. Well, the offense wasn't good all last year either. You've also got Patrick Mahomes. He has been throwing the most interceptions in his career. So they look real discombobulated on that front. But at the end of the day, man, they're still the Kansas City Chiefs. When you have Patrick Mahomes, we have Andy Reid, we have Travis Kelce, when you have those guys in those positions, you've always got giving yourself a chance to win. So I think that they definitely are a contender, and I think they're still the favorite to me to win it all. Like, I understand what the Bills are doing, I understand what the Lions are doing, but until you look number 15 and knock him out, I gotta go with them. Courtney, what do you think about the Chiefs? Obviously, they're a contender, but their chances to try to run it back is we're getting towards the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about experience, right? And how you are able to prepare for those kinds of games. I've never played football, obviously, but like, you hear these dudes talk about how you kind of get the butterflies before these big games. And I can only imagine being kind of a new up and coming team, realizing that you have to fucking go head to head with the Chiefs, this absolute juggernaut of an organization at this point. So like you said, until somebody proves that they can dethrone them, the Chiefs are still my favorite out of both divisions. Again, it doesn't help that both conferences, it doesn't help that there's not a lot of good teams in the NFL right now, period. But they're still definitely my clear-cut favorite to win it all.
Next team is the number 2 team in the AFC. They are 9-2 right now. They're the ones who just beat the Kansas City Chiefs last week. That is Buffalo Bills. You said what?
And look at what it took.
Yeah, it took a lot. It took a lot. It was a Pat threw like 2 picks. Still came down to one of the final plays of the game. Nobody had, even me, as big as a Josh Allen fan as I am, nobody had this Bills team being in this position right now. So I definitely have them on my contender list. Like I said on Monday, this is their best chance to win a championship. This is not their best team, in my opinion. I think they've had better teams than what they've had these last couple years. But I think this is their best opportunity to get Kansas City. We all know these regular season wins don't mean nothing. Kansas City is also in the regular season every year since 2021. But I think they're 100% a contender to not just win the AFC, but to win the whole thing. You've got the way they switched to Joe Brady. He's changed the offense since he came in end of last season. The way they've come in with Amari Cooper and the way they've gotten that running game going, they're like a full total team this time. And I really, really like their chances. Courtney, what do you think about the Bills? Are they a contender in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, they're a contender. But again, if simply because the rest of the AFC is just so bad. And that's no disrespect. I think they'll always have a chance as long as they have Josh Allen. But I think it's one of those, like, with Josh Allen, he could either be the reason you win or he could be the reason that you lose. And I know that's a lot of pressure to put on a quarterback, but like, I don't know. It's feeling like I haven't seen the Josh Allen bozo game yet. He's due for at least one every season. I haven't seen that yet. And I hope for his sake and for the Bills' sake that it doesn't happen in the playoffs. But it's there. The bozo gene lives strong, and it's the desire to play hero ball that worries me, just because he doesn't have the weapons that he's had in years past. So I guess, yeah, they're a contender, but
they say they don't move the needle for you. We talk about this team on Monday, but contender wise, do you think they're a legitimate contender to actually win the whole thing this year?
Me?
No, Dante.
Kansas City?
No, Buffalo.
I'm sorry. Buffalo, I really do. I really do. Believe it or not. I think Josh Allen is that good. And I think he's shown it that this season that he can carry a team. It's all, of course, with the NFL, it all comes down to seeding and the matchups. But I think it's going to get to a point when we get into the playoffs, especially if people have to go to Buffalo. I know, Pat can play in the cold, so we've seen Lamar do it as well. But I think it also playing in Buffalo can be a benefit for them, and as much as they can, like they really need to try to get that AFC Championship game to be in Buffalo. I think that would be to their advantage, and so I think this is a team that is definitely a serious contender, especially if they can lock up that home field advantage.
Let's go to the next team. It's number 3 team in the AFC. We watched one of these teams play in that amazing snow game yesterday. I know that snow is probably a pain in the ass to play in if you're a football player. But from a fan perspective, I love watching snow games. And I feel like it's a shame that they're gonna be building a dome over there in Cleveland. But the Steelers are 8-3 right now after losing yesterday. This is something that, since they put Russell Wilson back in the starting lineup, they've really been performing to another level. He had a pretty good game yesterday. I feel like he had the game won. I feel like they kind of lost it and this is not me beating up on a former cornerback of the Chicago Bears, but when you bring Justin Fields into the game on that 3rd and 3 situation, you're not bringing him in there to throw the ball. If you're going to bring him in there to throw the ball, you're going to keep it with Russell Wilson. You should have ran a play right there. And I feel like that right there is what kind of lost the game for the Steelers. I like the Steelers. I think they're a good team. I think they should hold on to win the division. I think the rest of their schedule is very, very tough. Baltimore's not out of it 100% yet, but I'm not ready to put them as a contender. I think they'll be a good playoff team. I think they're in the tier 2 of teams in the AFC. Courtney, what have you seen from the Steelers, and do you consider them a contender, or are they a pretender in your mind?
No, I said it, I think last week and again, and I keep saying it because it's so important. There's so many bad teams that we're latching on to all the teams that have winning records. Their defense is solid. I'll give it to them. But I'm just not moved by their offense. George Pickens is a crash out. No, they're not a contender this season.
George Pickens definitely gives me Andre Rison vibes, 100%. Dante, what you think about the Steelers? Are they contenders or pretenders?
I think the Steelers are pretenders. I don't think at the end of the day, I know, I think it was JJ who got really mad when he said, when Dan Orlovsky said that you can't beat these teams kicking field goals in the playoffs, and like it is the truth. Like it's the uncomfortable truth. I know back in the day you had your dominant defenses who were able to just win with 15 points and shit like that, but we don't really see that in today's NFL. You got to be able to get points somewhere, and even though they have succeeded with Russell Wilson under center, I think at the end of the day, when they come up against these tougher teams, it's going to be a little more difficult for them to get points. So right now, I think it's a good story. I think I said, as Tomlin will get his 10 wins, 11 wins, he'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll get anything any further than that.
Let's go on to the Houston Texans, man. This is a team that everybody, not me, was on coming into this year because of the great rookie season that CJ Stroud had last year. They're making it to the playoffs, knocking the Browns down the wild card game and giving the number 1 seeded Baltimore Ravens, a fight last year. But they're 7-4 right now. They're coming off a blowout win of the Dallas Cowboys. It was actually competitive for the first half. CJ Stroud not having a bad year, but it's just not the year that a lot of people expected him to have coming off such a good rookie year he had this year. I'm slapping the pretenders label on this team. I had them as pretenders to begin the season. I just didn't buy the hype right away. I think too many people were crowning CJ Stroud, and because it's such a great season. So I'm not 100% mad at it, but now, with quarterbacks and young quarterbacks, it's all about how you look once the film is out on you. Now these defenses have had a lot of film from last year to pick up some tendencies and figure out a way to defend them. And you've seen that off season, honestly. The Bears lost week 2, but the Bears did a pretty good job on him defensively. And the NFC North in general. And this is something where he's been throwing picks. He threw a pick on Monday that I was wondering where he was throwing to. And the week before that on Sunday Night Football, he had a BLT fest, him and Jared Goff. And so I think off that, and also the injuries they're dealing with, Stephon Diggs is now out for the rest of the year. Nico, he's in and out of the lineup. I'm slapping the pretender logo on the Houston Texans. I don't buy them. Courtney, what you think? You are on mute.
My bad. It's not their season this year. Definitely going with the Pretenders label. They're the best in a really bad division, but yeah, no, I'm not buying it this season, unfortunately, especially with no Stephon Diggs. That's a brutal L.
Yeah, Orlando, you're right. CJ should have thrown multiple picks against the Dallas Cowboys, man. We're going to go to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are number 6 in the AFC, number 2 in the AFC North. By the way, I saw the AFC North Hard Knocks trailer. I cannot wait to watch that. I prefer the in-season Hard Knocks way more than training camp now because with social media and stuff like that, we pretty much know how these training camps be looking anyway. But the Baltimore Ravens also have the same record as the Texans, but they're number 2 in their division. I am slapping the big pretender logo on the Ravens, and that has nothing to do with their quarterback. This is no Lamar slander here. Nothing to do with their quarterback. I'm putting the pretender logo on them because of that defense. That defense stinks. I don't know where Roquan Smith is. I don't know who kidnapped him, but they need to unkidnap him because he has not been the guy that I knew him to be when he was in Chicago. And he ain't the guy he's been the last couple seasons in Baltimore. I think the defense is going to hold him back. And I also think that John Harbaugh does this thing where he likes to prove to people that they can throw the football, and instead of doing what they do best, which is run, especially with a Derrick Henry back there. And they just lost to some teams that they ain't got no business losing to. Granted, that don't have nothing to do with the playoffs, but also if you're a team that's trying to compete for a championship, a team that, should have probably beat Kansas City last year and wants to try to get another crack at it, you would think they'd be way more focused and not take some of the L's that they've taken this season. Dante, what do you think about the Ravens? Are they contenders or pretenders to you?
I think they're contenders. I think their offense is good enough to carry them. And I think if you can get that defense to lock in those key moments when you really need to stop, when you really need them to, not obviously get blown out. You never want to see anybody get blown out, but giving up 24, 27, 30 points a game, like you can't do that shit. But if you can get them to really, like you say, get Roquan to wake up and rally that defense, and you can get those timely stops, that offense can get them with anybody. So I think the Ravens are still going to be contenders simply because I believe Lamar Jackson is that good.
Courtney, pretenders or contenders for the Baltimore Ravens?
Is it bad that I still don't know yet?
Yeah, to me, that's the answer right there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm still, and it's nothing to do. Like Lamar Jackson is so good. Isn't that so bad that Lamar is having the kind of season that he's having, MVP caliber season, and I still don't. And you have fucking Derrick Henry, and I still don't know if that's enough, especially when you look at who he'd be competing against, for their AFC crown. I don't know, man. Obviously they're contenders, but I don't think they're there yet. I think they were a better team last season. Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. I think they have taken a massive step back, and that's why I can't give them the contender level. I think if you're a serious contender, that you don't have the losses that some of these teams have, I believe. So that's why I'm not putting them there, man. Let's go to my final AFC team, then we'll go to the NFC. That is the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers right now, big win. I mean, even though the Bengals stink.
How happy are you, Dante?
You laid it. Monday Night Football coming up. Get your tickets. Get your tickets.
Get your tickets, playoff tickets, maybe coming
Battle of the Harbaugh brothers. Let's make some money. Fuck with me.
The Chargers number 5. They got a big one. Even though the Bengals stink, it's still Joe Burrow. They're fighting for their playoff lives. It was a big win. I have, as a very big Justin Herbert fan, I never waver. I said for years, he has idiots running his team. Have you seen the stuff that Brandon Staley would do? Have you seen the stuff that some of his offensive coordinators do? They're doing such a better job out there right now with Jim Harbaugh out there, and he's throwing the niggas who like me. Like, he's not throwing any big time wide receivers out there. The Chargers look really, really good. They're 7-3 right now. They're not going to win the division, obviously, because they're in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. Contenders or pretenders? I think they're pretenders, but at the same time, I don't think that's a bad thing for this team because they're going in the right direction now. And I do believe that Harbaugh will have this team in the contender conversation, maybe even as early as next year. So I think they're going in the right direction. They're just not there right now, but they've got a good thing going. Dante, you are a Chargers season ticket holder. What do you like what you see from the Chargers? And are they contenders yet, or are you still giving them a pretender title for right now?
I mean, bro, I can't even lie. The sake of my wallet, I want them to be contenders. I still think it's not real this year. But you got to tip your cap to Harbaugh, bro. And it's disappointing that a certain franchise that we root for was not interested in hiring this man. But you see, we talked earlier about culture builders. He brings a culture with him everywhere he goes. The Jim Harbaugh teams are going to play a certain way, and most importantly, they're going to compete. And that's something that he's always done. He's rebuilding that team, and I think for them, they've shocked everybody this year. But unfortunately, I think it's this year I would say pretenders. They're going to get to the playoffs and probably lose. But let's push for a home game at SoFi, and if we get that, just make sure you contact me. I'll get you together.
Hit him up at October Zonte on Twitter for all of your Charger ticket needs this season and in the future. Courtney, Chargers, pretenders or contenders, and just what have you liked that you've seen from this team this year?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely pretenders, unfortunately. I will say I'm very happy with the progress that this organization is making and pleasantly surprised. They're having a lot of success passing the ball, which is not something that I expected out of a Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman led offense. That was actually really surprising for me. I thought they'd have a lot more success running the ball. But way to surprise me. And also the AFC West as a whole is just kind of, minus the Raiders, is getting significantly better, which is just, that's all you really want is just some good competitive football when it gets down to it. So yeah, I mean, good for them. They're moving in the right direction. But yeah, this season, I don't think it's happening this season.
Dante, we had a question from our super producer Nikhil. He said, "Why is Dante a Charger season ticket holder?"
Yeah. Might not want to say that too loud because as a former ticket salesperson, they used to have kind of rules and shit about that. If you sold too many games, they'd be wanting to come out.
No, they be showing me love.
They might not have that with the Chargers, but
no, they don't give a fuck. But
the Chargers give them tickets out at Carl's Jr. Damn near.
Yeah, no, long story short, a friend of mine was working on a project and he was like, bro, this is a good idea because you got to think SoFi is going to be a premier destination and it's not just about the Charger tickets. I have a PSL, so I get the pre-sale codes for everything at SoFi. So we're about to get, the Olympics, the World Cup. I sold some Beyonce tickets for a considerable amount of money. So
I could have gotten Eras tickets?
Yeah, anybody. I mean, I didn't know, but now you know.
Now you know. Now the more I think I was the only one who knew.
Yeah, if you need a pre-sale code, holler at me.
I was Dante's sales associate.
I'm actually
I hit all the homies up. Yo, y'all trying to go to SoFi this week?
Yeah, bro, whatever you need. Y'all lucky I ain't getting that into it though, because that shit.
Exactly. But let's go to the NFC. We can actually kind of breeze through this because my answers on these are pretty clear cut. Lions. I got the Lions, Eagles, Cardinals, Vikings, Packers, and Commanders on this list. Out of all of these teams, I think we're going to do it this way because I think we're kind of all on the same page here. Lions are the only contender on this list. And I'm going to tell you why they're only contender. What they are doing, they look like they're playing a different sport. They are running up the score on people. They believe in Dan Campbell's philosophy. What I loved from this team is Dan Campbell. He was tripping in the NFC Championship game last year, going for it on fourth down. If they even take one field goal, they win that game, and they go play KC in the Super Bowl. I don't say doubled down, but that's his philosophy. And his players, they believe in it, and he keeps doing it. They were up 30-something last week. They went for it on 4th and 5. They was up 20. I love that kind of stuff. And I really feel that last year was their learning year. When you got to lose before you win. They got further than they thought they was going to get, by getting to the NFC Championship game, having the chance to win it. Now they know what it takes, and they know they got to win. I know they got injury, issues. Hutch is probably out for a year. They had another injury a couple of days ago. But to me, they are clear-cut the best team in the NFC, and I think they're the best team in football right now, just how they're playing. To me, they're the only contender. The Eagles are playing well, but I still think Nick Sirianni is an idiot. I still believe that This is not going to help my black quarterback stigma. I still think that Jalen Hurts is a running back. Anytime you're a quarterback and you're a top 3 and rushing in franchise history, that's telling me something. They got some injuries there too. I just don't trust that team to make it to the Super Bowl anymore. Like, I feel like they had their chance. Cardinals, good team. I think they're going to win the division, be a good playoff team. They're pretenders. Vikings, like I said earlier, I got the Vikings losing this week. I don't trust Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. Pretender. Packers, we let them niggas off the hook. They are not. I know I'm going to sound like a hater. They are not that good. Jordan Love gets away with murder every week. I don't understand how you had 2 picks last week. They're not contending. The Commanders, they're ahead of schedule. I do believe defenses are finally adjusting to Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I feel like the only team right now is the Lions are the contenders. Courtney, obviously, you're me on Lions being contenders. Are there any other teams that I just named who are contenders, or are they all pretenders to you?
No. Maybe the Eagles if they get hot, but no, I'm still not buying it. It's not like you can run up the score so much that like your defense doesn't really matter, No. I think the Lions are the only real team in the NFC.
Dante, what you think about the NFC? Is it Lions or bust for you?
Yeah, pretty much. Pause. But yeah, I think the Eagles, I don't think they're gonna be able to push their way to success this time. I think there's some questions about that team, as great as Saquon's season has been. But so for me, I think the Lions, like you said, bro, it looks like they playing fucking NFL blitz out there. Like, it's just different with them out there. Dan Campbell has that team motivated and ready to go in there. Well-oiled machine, just a very well-built football team. So I think right now the NFC is really the Lions to lose.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so